Angry guy here, and men don't care about society. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Now let's begin. Men don't care about society. So where is this coming from? Where am I getting this from? Guys, when you look at modern day society and you look at the way men are treated in society, men have basically walked away and have said that, you know what? We're done with society. We're done with the nonsense. We're done with the games. We don't care anymore. And that's going to have a very negative effect on society going forward. I look at society, I look at how men have been treated, especially by the boomers, for example. And the boomers got us good. The boomers got us good. There was a comment I saw in one of my videos, and this guy said something pretty insane. Something I knew, I had already known this, but it just basically confirmed what I had already known. Our parents, and these people are such wretched people. For me, the boomers, when they purchased their homes, this is how grandma and grandpa lived. This is how the boomers lived. When they purchased their homes only cost around 1 year's salary. 1 year's salary. This is the craziest thing. Like when your first home would typically cost you about 1 year's salary. And it was like that for quite a long time. When my parents purchased their first home back in the close to the late 90s, they purchased their first home for, it was maybe around 104. I think it was like $145,000. That house is worth almost $1 million right now. Just over 20 years later. So I want you all just to think about how crazy these statistics are, and the idea of a millennial, of anyone in our generation, being able to purchase a home for that kind of money. Back in the 90s, making the late 90s, making $60,000 a year wasn't an abnormal thing. I just want to make that very, very clear. I mean, you went to college, you had a decent education, that's about what you would be making. And a lot of people were making that without college. My father was making $60,000 a year, like in 1992, or maybe even a little bit before that. $60,000 a year doing armored work, armored security. $60,000. This is madness. And my mother also was working in nursing shortly after that. So my parents had bread. And how much was my parents, they were renting a 2-bedroom apartment in New York for less than $900. Guys, I'm telling you, these people are insane. When they look at what the current generations are going through and saying, oh, you're not working enough, you're not properly spending your money, you're wasting your money, you realize that these people they just want to suck everything out, and they want to make sure that they get their Social Security. It's such a freaking scam. It's such a scheme. And they act like they don't know, because they can't see anyone else. They cannot see anything other than their own problems. They just want to get their bag. Many of them have already gotten their bag, but they want to keep it coming. And then they act like, oh, you're supposed to care about them? Heck no. Absolutely heck no. You wonder how women in modern day society are so entitled? Look at their parents. Look at this comment. He said, no one made $100,000 a year in the 1970s. You could buy a nice house for $10,000. And if you say, well, what was the average salary? What was the average salary in the 1920s? The average salary was right around $10,000. It's the honest to goodness truth. And it's just crazy how things have literally spiraled out of control. And it's like, as we have to walk away. We absolutely have to walk away from we absolutely have to walk away from Western society, because Western society is beyond toxic. It's absolutely toxic. It is 100% theft. It is theft what we're experiencing here in Western society. It's theft, theft, because all the wealth is being sucked out, and we're being left with the bad. We're being forced to pay for it. Like it's ridiculous. And they say don't complain. Well, you know what? We do what men do. Yeah, we walk away. Just like the black dudes walked away from their communities when they were ostracized and put out, we walk away as men from this toxic Western society that just uses us and takes advantage of us and leaves us with nothing at all. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 this year. And what do I have to show for it? Some money in the bank? Come on. Look at this. The median money income for all families in the United States was about $9,870 in 1970. This was about $440 or 4.6% higher than the 1969 median of $9,430. However, it's important to note that the median household income was $8,730 in 1970. This was about $340 or 4.1% higher than the 1969 figure of $8,390. Many of you might say, well, that's not a lot of money. Again, guys, you could purchase a typical house in 1970 would only cost about $10,000. Think about that carefully. You can go and get a crap job in 1970, make around $10,000, and within 2 years have that house paid off. This is ridiculous, absolute nonsense. So for a person born today, if they lived in 1970, they would just work their butts off. They would work their butts off. So they would save. They would work their butts off, and within 1 year, more or less 1 year, 2 years max, they would have their home completely paid for. Imagine owning a home where you don't have to ever worry about rent ever again. And not only that, you could go out and you can purchase multiple properties and begin renting them out and have an income coming in. This is the world that these people lived in. And they didn't have social media. They didn't have this trash social media that constantly is putting everyone on blast and stressing us out. You weren't being tracked everywhere you go by these terrible devices that we carry around with us. It's beyond ridiculous. Oh my gosh. They had television. They would chill. They'd go to the park. They had so much fun. I mean, it was basically a time of free love. Women were starting to change, but they still could not act out the way they're acting out in modern day society. Life was so much better. Many of y'all don't seem to remember that the those things that they sent to Mars, like Titan and all this other stuff. They started sending those stuff back in like the 1970s. Like a lot of us are like, oh my gosh, it's the first time we've gone to Mars. Bro, they did this stuff like 40, 50 years ago. The old people just don't talk about it. They did this stuff like 40, 50 years ago. They had crazy tech back then. It's just that we did not know. All right. And guys, they didn't have to, oh, we're sitting here like miserable, like locked away. Guys, they would actually go to the movies back in those days. Not only did they have movies, they also had drive-ins. Bro, you could go and buy a car for like $500 or $1,000. Like just think about that very, very carefully. Like you could literally take a month's check, 1 month's salary, and buy a car, a nice car. These people are crazy. They've destroyed the entire world around us. And I say, walk away. Walk the heck away and leave it alone. Guys, what do you think about this? If you're enjoying the content, help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men don't care about society. I want to know your thoughts regarding this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.